I did wonder how long it might be before this would happen in the save game. Chairperson Daisuke Kuranaga has accepted a bid for Mark the Space from Liverpool. He recently got his first cap for the Singapore national team. He's been improving a lot, and in fact, recently I've been training him to play at centre attack in mid, and it turns out the world is becoming aware of Mark. There's lots of teams that have made bids here. Now, of course, I will be using the in-game editor to keep him at the club and also keep him happy, because otherwise this is going to be a problem through the whole save game. But before we resort to that, there's one thing that we could try and do, and that's protest the transfer. Shall I do this? We're going to be at a loss without him, Daisuke. He's not going to notice we're currently in our best run of form. Spoilers for the episode, mate. He's ruining it for you here. But they're delighted to grant my request. Oh, Daisuke, I love you, my friend. I mean, obviously, Mark's probably not going to be all that happy about what's happened here, but he's still our player for now. If you've been observant, you might have noticed it's currently the start of January. I'm not starting today's episode right now. I'm going to get to the end of the transfer window. I have spent a lot of money. How is it going, folks, and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Journey Manager, and we are back here at the end of the transfer window where I've literally spent all the money. There is no scouting budget remaining, there's no transfer budget remaining, but I'm very happy with our squad. Yeah, the club's finances could look better. I've done the Football Manager equivalent of putting it all on red. We really need to win the Cup and League this year. We are currently spending over the wage budget by £2,000, and our transfer budget is £768. You probably should explain what we've been up to. Now, of course, in this save game, we do have the issue where the transfer window is only open in January, and I've already looked to make the most of that and bring in a load of players, albeit I've kind of gambled the future of the club. At the same time, though, I don't really want to be waiting until a year's time to try and add strength if I could possibly do it now, which is exactly what we've looked to do. In terms of ins and outs, one notable departure perhaps, Zamri has left the club for £12,000. So that did raise a little bit of funds to help with transfers. The 24-year-old, a useful backup winger, but we have now got plenty of players in this part of the pitch. We did also let go of a few players in the under-23s, but of course, speaking of under-23s, I was only allowed to sign 2 players over the age of 23, and the rest of my signings had to be Singaporean and Japanese. We have added 9 new signings in one window. Technically, there are actually 11 new signings, 2 players I'm not really going to talk about much. The first is Latif here. I signed him like a year ago. He's not very good. And I also signed Yi King Fat. Yes, the king of the fat is in our team. Yeah, I worship this man, so I felt like we should bring him in. He might play the odd game for us. He's not awful. One thing I did want to make use of this window was our affiliates, if possible. Now, Albrecht, sadly, didn't really have any players I could loan, but Japan SC, the Japan Soccer College? I mean, it sounds legit, doesn't it? They have an agreement where I can just sign their players for free. I really made use of that. Of course, when it comes to goalies at the club, Hassan Sunny had been the main player at this club for a very, very long time. And of course, Juma Apt we had used as a squad player this year when Sunny had got injured, but I needed a new goalie, and the soccer college had one for me in Koshiro Matsuda. I like the look of this guy. He's quick. He's not the craziest goalkeeper by any means, but for a player we signed for absolutely nothing, you can't really be mad. That said, I have actually played him in a couple of games. He's not been very good. Sonny's been back in goal lately. And the other man we picked up on a free transfer from the soccer college was this guy, Yuya Hamasaki, Japanese right back and left back. Really useful versatility. Available, of course, on a free transfer, which is always nice. Just ignore the fact he hates it in important matches, is inconsistent, is injury prone, and has a competitive streak. There's loads of negatives, but he can run quick and he's very decisive. I was looking to add some more depth for the back. It's something that we've lacked during our time here. We picked up this guy in Nasrul Pujiono. Like the look of this guy a lot. Singapore centre-back, has the technicals, the areas he needs to have them in. He joined us on a free transfer, and alongside Kieran Teo here, who I think is a decent little option, Singaporean under-21 international, there is at least now some depth in the centre-back area if the injuries do start to pile up. Reefty also joined us from Tampines. I like the look of this guy. 21 years old, right back, super consistent, loads of potential, which maybe is promising. Quite how much potential he really has is up for debate, but we signed him for £4,000. I think this is a solid little addition. He's been playing regular minutes in the Premier Division. And another player that we signed for the future who wasn't cheap was John Tan. I have signed this guy from Lion City Sailors for £12,000. Yes, this guy was playing regular minutes as kind of a teenager in the Singaporean Premier League. For us, he's going to be a super sub option on off the bench, but he has got some really, really good creativity. Now, outside of Tan, there are 3 players here that aren't really like the others that cost significantly more. These are the 3 big signings for this window, which I'm hoping they're going to ensure that we win the title this year. The first is Sogo Ichikawa. Found him by virtue of the fact he had international caps and was partially Japanese. I upped our scouting range for like a week. If you ever played Football Manager, we've all done it, haven't we? Where you up the scouting range and think, I'm just going to look at all the players I can for a week, then I'll not have a scouting budget anymore. I did it. It was worth the gamble with this guy. He is a really versatile attacking midfield option, already 2 goals to his name, and yeah, we signed him from Kitchi over in Hong Kong. The other 2 players we picked up, 2 really exciting young attacking Singaporean options. Of course, the players that I signed needed to be under the age of 23, and Shakfi here is exactly that. 13 finishing, great determination, some nice acceleration as well. He already has a decent goal return for Tampines, who are up in 3rd. So not only are we weakening a rival by bringing him in, we're strengthening ourselves. And as you can see here, he actually started his career at Albirex. So if anything, we've just brought him back home. And alongside Shakfi, the other man we've picked up is Karim Nadim Rahim. Rahim, we'll call him. That was probably going to help in the commentary. This guy, another young attacking option. I'd say he's not as good as Shakfi, but he can play out on the left-hand side. And as an inside forward, at 21 years old with bags of potential, I just feel like there's lots to like. He had been playing regularly for Line City Sailors in the division. They are the team breathing directly down our necks, so a chance to really punish them, weaken them, felt like a good option to exercise. So our net spend for the transfer window is £52,000. Like I said, in terms of money, there is no money left. I was actually able to go over the wage budget by setting a load of players in the under-21s for a release early. If you don't know, you can kind of select the players that have a year left in their contract and then transfer status and set for release. And basically it tells the game, don't include these in next year's wage budget. By doing that, I was able to offer some pre-contracts on some of those young players you just saw and then hit the buy now option to buy them early. So yeah, it's a gamble. The under-21s is going to be empty next year as a result. But you know what? I do think it's a gamble very much worth taking at this moment in time because we are on the precipice of a really good year. Last episode, we took on Line City Sailors and beat them 5-2. They are the team directly behind us, so to beat them that comfortably last time out was good. Of course, from there, we also beat Young Lions. Of course, we've played a lot of football since you were last here. In fact, you can see here, we've played a ton. And in fact, we've lost against the opposition for today's first game in Geylang and Lion City Sailors since that last episode. But besides that, we've been in some really, really good winning form. The defeat against Lion City Sailors was a little bit frustrating. We went down a man in the 49th minute, and we really nearly held on in this game. Prior to the sending off, we were the better team, but as you can see, the game changed when we went down a man, and sadly, they were able to steal a really late goal. Ball over the top, Akeem tucked it away. Hassan Sudi not using his hands. It's a sight I've become used to seeing. Now, today's opposition in the first game in Geylang, we've not actually beaten in the last 2 meetings. They are in 3rd in the league. They won the first meeting between our teams since last episode with that effort there. And in a game that happened right at the end of last month, they managed to get a draw against us. 2-2 in this game. We went 2 goals up through Ichikawa, making a really instant impact on the team. And then we absolutely threw it away. 90th minute equaliser stung. Iqbal Hussain was the man who got the goal. Yeah, the ball was pumped over the top to him, and he just ran, and he ran, and he ran, and then tucked it in. So right now we are joint top of the table with Lion City Sailors. A little bit of a caveat here. We actually have 2 games in hand, so we're still in a good little spot, but we have got Geylang to take on today, and then in just over 2 weeks we play Lion City Sailors. I think you can see where this is going. Now, the Singapore Cup draw has happened, but based on how the league season's going, where we are running away at the top of the table alongside the Singaporean elite, I'm hoping we're going to navigate it through this league stage relatively simple. It feels like a side quest at the moment. Now, if you were wondering with this must-win game on the horizon, how are we lining up with all the new signings? This is how we are lining up. There is a little bit of a change in how things have been approaching. Hamasaki and Matsuka, the 2 new Japanese youngsters we signed from the soccer college, slot into the team. Hamasaki's playing right back for us. Bit of a shame he's only got a reasonable right foot, but he's natural in this position. And as for Matsuda, he is just looking like the better option longer term. I love Hassan. I really, really do. But at the same time, I need to prepare for life without him. He is 41, and despite signing a new deal, probably shouldn't be relying on him too much. And leading the line, there is a bit of a new look. Of course, Ichikawa, the Hong Kong international, alongside Shakfi, who we signed from Tampines. Really like the look of these two. Maybe feels a bit harsh on Bashir to drop him from the team, but the 27-year-old, if I just compare him with Shakfi, he is just a little bit of a downgrade, although these 2 players will, I'm sure, battle it out for the striking position over the course this year. If we do win these next 2 league games, we put ourselves in pole position to win the league. Of course, it's only a 32-game season in Singapore. It's very, very short. I look at the new additions we brought in. I am really going for it this year. Worth noting that Doi, who they've got up front, is considered the best striker in the world. And if you're not familiar with this guy, allow me to introduce you to Tomoyuki Doi, who last year in Singapore in real life got 42 goals and 10 assists in 27 games. He was literally the top goal scorer in the whole of the world. We're taking him on today. Now, I will admit, in terms of the best striker in the world, when you look at his attributes, he's not the scariest player, but he has also got 13 goals in 22, so we probably need to show him some respect. It's weird, the system that we're playing is a system that I started using because of the players that are already at the club, and in the January window, instead of signing players to reinvent the system, I basically signed players to fit the system, because so far it's worked really well for us. Asman plays it forward, Mikuni wins it nicely, Mark playing in that more advanced position plays it to Shakvi, back to Mark here, Wei Lun, our left wing back, back to Mark, everything has been run by him, Danny Go squares it, and that is like the second time I've seen him score that kind of goal. He creates the own goal. I'm not going to celebrate an own goal by any means, but you have to say the build-up play prior to the own goal was really, really nice. Danny tried to pull it back, and it's deflected off the defender and nestled perfectly in the bottom corner. 1 goal up, no shots on target, life's good. Danny Go through the middle, gives it to Ichikawa. Yoshimura, the new addition at right back, gives it back to Kawachi. The Japanese defence, I think, has become a trend in this save game, but there are some really good defenders in our ranks, and we're going to get the ball forward here. Shakfi, what a volley that is. Danny Go turns provider again. Mikuni at centre-back. He's announced he's going back to Japan at the end of the year. We'll forgive him for that if he continues to put players on a plate like that. The ball to Danny Go was amazing. Shakfi with the volley was confident as you like. Okay, half-time in this game, 2-0 to the good. We look really, really solid. Admittedly, it's not exactly been a classic. I suppose one thing that is really nice for the additions we made in January, we've got really, really good options on the bench to bring in. Some of them former starters. For example, Amy Retro, I'm going to bring in Shadow Striker here. Elsewhere, Yoshimura has been a bit quiet in this game, so I'm going to move Danny Go onto the right wing, and I'm going to bring in Raheem to play as that inside forward on the left-hand side, because I think that is a role that he, long-term, is going to play for us. Raheem, fresh off the bench. What can you do, my friend? He plays it inside to Danny Go, who's already been at the heart of everything we've done today, and he couldn't keep the shot down there. 28 minutes remain. You know, as good as we've been here, 1 goal would change this match so radically, so quickly, and make me feel nervous. Taniguchi very nearly went on his own. Matsuda with a lovely saving goal. 20 minutes remain in this game. It is still 2-0 in our favour. Then again, like I said, there's time to be played here. I'm saying that a lot. I feel like I need another goal to kill this off because something like that could happen. That is a sensational goal. Or rather, I thought it was. I thought it was the guy who shot it who actually scored it. I think it's deflected off Doi and it's gone in. Is that how he got his 42 goals? He just stole them off his teammates. Okay, 10 minutes left in this game. We're going to change things up and just try and see out this game. I'm going to move Mark back to play as a deep line playmaker on support. Kenji Austin, mate, defensive mid on defend. I'm going to bring in the smiley man in Noor Hissam in at centre attacking mid and move Retcher up top. Noor Hissam maybe going to find his first 10 minutes limited with all the new additions, but I still love him. And I think for Raheem, I'm just going to switch his duty to support. I still want us to look to control possession for the last 8 minutes here and just see this game out. But you have to say, in this second half, they've been the better team. 4 minutes of added time, a goal now would really settle my nerves. And let me tell you now, those nerves are jangling. The ball's whipped in towards Retcher, cleared away. Raheem takes it down nicely, though, cuts inside, trying to get on his right foot, lays it to Mark. It's not the best goal I've ever seen, but it is a goal that is very much going to relieve the pressure and make this 3-1. There's something very Football Manager, isn't there, about the idea that you move your centre mid to defensive mid and play him in a more static role and then he still just scores a long shot. Completely counterintuitive, but I'm not going to complain. Okay, I was thinking the game was done. Football Manager has other ideas. It's the infamous kickoff highlight, and if Geylang get one back with 3.5 minutes left, would I have to panic? I certainly hope not. Raheem's won it nicely, though, and lays it inside to Mark, the goal scorer of our most recent one. Another goal here would be the misery compiler. Kenji Austin to Raheem. Danny Go on the right-hand side, shoots, scores. That is game over. Full time, though, is going to occur in this game here. 4-1 win. Great little result for us. And like I said, that does give us a little bit of breathing room at the top. Goal difference, very much in our favour. Danny Go, man of the match. Give him some praise. He has looked so, so good for us this year. And apparently the following bonuses have been paid out as a result of us qualifying for the AFC Cup. If I'm not mistaken, in real life, we're not meant to be able to qualify for the AFC Cup. I don't know what's going to happen there. It'd be quite fun to play it, but I'm not sure it's possible. If you do know, let me know with an answer on a postcard. We have now got the Singapore Cup kicking off. Tampines is perhaps the toughest game we've got alongside Geylang, but they are not the focus today, because on the 21st of February, we take on Lion City Sailors. Their media prediction was first. They're currently in second. A win against them might all but secure us the title. Okay, 2 weeks later, pleased to report our Singapore Cup run has got off to the best possible start. 2 wins in 2. They've not been convincing, mind you. We scraped a 1-0 win against Tampines. Shaq Fee, who we literally signed from Tampines in January, scoring against his former club. That was quite satisfying. But not as satisfying as this comeback against DPMM. Yes, from 1-0 down at the break to win 3-2. There was a flurry of goals late on in this game. Yoshimura, man of the match. And we got a win via Kieran Teo, one of the centre-backs we signed in the off-season, popping up with a massive goal off the bench. Look, it's not what I've brought him into the team to do, but if he wants to pop up with some big goals, that'd be very much appreciated. Anyway, we've had the side quest of the Cup. Now, full focus is back on the league. Lion City Sailors, you can see here, 3 points behind us, 2 games in hand on us. A win here and we go 6 points clear with 2 games in hand as well. We'd be, I think, 2 or 3 wins away from winning the Singaporean Premier League, which would be a massive, massive achievement to do in our first full season at the club. Admittedly, when you look at the pre-season odds, we were one of the teams back to do well this year. We've really still stepped up as a team. Also, I love the fact that players like Hamasaki, Kawachi, Ichikawa, all in the Media Dream 11. 4 players, in fact, of ours in it. Yeah, a real sign that we've added strength this year. Of course, Lion City Sailors at this point are rather familiar opposition in the context of this save game. You can see our past meetings against them. We've only actually ever beaten them twice. Once was just last episode. I want to do it again. Our team for today's match is the exact same team that played in that last league game and got us the massive result against Geylang. We are going to hope we can do it again here, as well as a kickoff highlight immediately, and that is a dangerous wayward pass to give away, and with both fullbacks slightly further up the pitch than you'd like, well, I thought we might be susceptible to a counter-attack. Nicely broken down, and now we're going to look to make something happen through the middle. Kawachi for us at centre-back, dinks it to Yoshimura, inside to Ichikawa, who sadly loses out the ball. Harun plays it forward. An early goal for either team here could be massive. We've won the ball in a nice area. Shakfi, Ichikawa, the new signings, give and go, and oh my word, that is exactly how we wanted to start this game. When I upped the scouting range to just the rest of Asia and basically was looking for 1 or 2 signings, I was hoping we'd find someone like Ichikawa, playing in the Hong Kong Premier League, willing to come over and play for us, part Japanese, and if he can continue to finish like that, he is going to be a massive addition for this club. Set piece for us, Watanabe, who recently broke into the Philippines national team to put it in, the header just off target. It's all action early on in this game, from that header over the crossbar straight into another one. Ichikawa, looking confident as you like in this game, gives it wide. And now we're looking to build the play up down the right-hand side. The Singapore soup is in full effect, and Shakthi scores his 14th of the year. Only a handful, of course, of those at our club. What a signing our new boys are looking like. I'll be honest, in January, I did kind of question, is this the right move to kind of gamble the club's finances on a couple of big signings to try and win now? The new signings are making a difference in this kind of game. But you know what? There is still 81 minutes of football to be played, and it's not over yet. Matsuda called into action, the header fortunately just over the bar. I was hoping for a nice, relaxing game. You know, get an early goal, then just settle into it. That's not how this game's playing out. It's highlight after highlight after highlight. It's a relentless experience. That was a very dangerous pass that was not nice to watch. But we've got the ball back, and now we're going to look to build it out from the back. Kawachi gives it to Mark. Nice ball to Danny Go. Sadly, Danny couldn't get the ball out of his feet, but he does win it back superbly for us here. And now we're going to try and build something up on this left-hand side. Go switches it to Yoshimura. Can he make something magical happen? He skips past his man. Can he get the ball into the box? He goes back to Hamasaki. Back now with Yoshimura. Back to Hamasaki. Lovely build-up play. Ichikawa with the turn. It's 3-0. It is a dismantling of the City Sailors. The Sailors were hoping they were going to set sail to close the gap on us. They have not left port yet, and a typhoon has come in orange, and it's completely turned over their ship. I do find that when you manage in a country like Singapore in Football Manager, where there's only a handful of teams, it's relatively easy to become the top dog over a period of time. I did not expect us to do it so quickly. This is a statement result, and it could get worse. Yoshimura, where are you going, son? The answer is straight into the goalie's hands. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half are going to come and go. I mean, I have to be happy with what we've seen in this game. Ichikawa, 2 goals to his name. He's looking absolutely superb, isn't he? I will say that within this system, the shadow striker feels like the main man of the team, which is kind of interesting. It's a role that I used to use in older FMs a ton. Not had as much success with it this year. He is running the show. With 20 minutes left, I have just made a couple of subs, just bringing in some fresh legs. But to be honest, it's one of those games where I don't really want to touch anything. It's working well. 7 minutes left in this game. They have created nothing. There has been no reason to believe a comeback could happen. And in fact, oh my word, it's going to go from bad to worse. Kieran Teo, 2 goals in 2 games on off the bench for the centre-back. There's 4 minutes left here. That is an awful pass by Hamasaki. Deramenko, they could be through. They could ruin the clean sheet. They do. Surely that's just a consolation. Okay, Yoshimura's got injured. That is not so good. We'll hope that's not too serious because he's been one of the breakout talents in our team this year. 4 minutes of added time at the end of this game are going to come and go. This result really instates the fact we are one of the top dogs in this country. It's only the 4th time, or no, the 3rd time, I think, that we've actually beaten Lion City Sailors since the beginning of the save game. Of course, some of that does predate me. But if there was a time to get a win against them, it might well have been just there. You have to say now, we are going to win the league. Okay, that is a bit of a vibe killer. Yoshimura, broken ankle, will now miss the rest of the season. Man of the match and a broken ankle. Oh, it's just sad, isn't it? I can't stop looking at this league table. What a crazy spot to find ourselves in. I thought we'd be more competitive this year. We've been really, really good. What I will say is, no one else has really been standouts. Like last year, Lion City Sailors and Geylang lost 4 games each. Like, they did not lose many games. This year, they've lost almost double that for both teams. Obviously, some of that is us getting stronger, but at the same time, they've just not done as well against the other Singaporean teams as well, like we have. Now, speaking of Geylang, we actually played them in our next game in the Komoko Motors Singapore Cup. They've lost their opening 2 games in this competition. I'm hoping we're going to make it to the knockouts. I think that is when we are going to be back next time. And if you were wondering, Jackie, you're going to be looking at jobs beyond Singapore once you start to hopefully win the league and more? I am. The Community Shield in Singapore is actually in August, and that will also be kind of mid-season for various other leagues in Asia where maybe they start to sack managers. So I'm not in a rush necessarily to run away from Albirex as soon as we win the league. Anyway, folks, we are going to leave things there for today. I hope you enjoyed your daily dose of Singapore soup. The new signings are on song, some really top performances. Super happy with how things are going. Next time out, I promise you an away day. If you have enjoyed things, go down below, slap that like button, and we will be back again tomorrow with more. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm out.